The city of Omaha was unofficially established on July 4th, 1854. Since then, it has grown into a sprawling metropolitan area that almost 500,000 people call home. I'm Jared Kennedy.
And I'm Tiara Charay. Tonight, we take an in-depth look at our city, from the upcoming general election to places of economic redevelopment and growth.
Thank you so much for being with us. This is the State of the City, Omaha 2017.
From the studios of UNO Television, this is the Omaha News, presented by UNO School of Communication.
Tonight with Omaha's general election ticket. On May 9th, Omahans will make their choice for the city's mayor and those vying for the 7 city council seats. For mayor, incumbent Jean Stothert hopes to fend off the charge of her challenger Heath Mello. In District 1, Pete Festerson, the incumbent, will square off against UNO student Grant Sturek. For District 2, voters will choose between incumbent Ben Gray and Dennis Womack. In District 3, incumbent Chris Jerem is contested by Deshaun Cunningham. District 4 is an open seat race between Vinnie Palermo and Jim Rogers. Rich Pauls is uncontested and will represent District 5 on the new city council. District 6 is another open seat between Brinker Harding and Dwight Peterson. And finally, in District 7, incumbent Amy Melton, the city's only woman, is challenged by Brian Thomas, and that's the city council's only woman.
With more on the mayor's race, Omaha News reporter Zachary Padilla gives us an in-depth look at the candidates and their proposed policy agendas.
The mayor's race has begun, and the race could be a close one. The 2 candidates who have advanced to the primaries include current mayor Jean Stothert and Heath Mello. Last week's polling results for the primaries were close, with Mayor Stothert polling in with 44% of the votes, and Heath Mello not far behind with 41%. The other candidates had a combined 15% of the votes. Mayor Stothert was the first woman to become mayor of Omaha. She was sworn into office in June of 2013. Before becoming the mayor of the city, she was elected to the Millard Board of Education. Heath Mello, an Omaha native, represented District 5 in the Nebraska legislature, where he was the chairman of the Appropriations Committee until his term limits in 2016. Some of the biggest issues that both candidates are focusing on include better streets for Omaha. Not only are the candidates planning on fixing the roads, but they're also talking about adding in a new transportation system. Jean Stothert is focusing on the idea of a streetcar system for the city, as well as more bikes.
We have purchased the bicycles and we have purchased all of the stations, and because of that we are eligible for federal grants. And with the federal grant that we are getting, we're going to be able to double our number of bikes and double our number of stations around the metro area.
Heath Mello has talked about a light rail system and more bike lanes available on the road.
And I'm convinced the future growth of this city is based around a modern transportation system built around light rail. Not a streetcar, light rail, that's able to get people around the city from north, south, east, west, diagonally, everywhere in between.
Another issue that both candidates are focusing on is the crime rate and protecting the families that live in Omaha. The city has one of the highest crime rates per capita in the country. Stothert's approach is to reduce response times and enhance the OPD's drug crime department. Mello plans to reduce crime rates through city planning partnerships with schools and social service providers. The most important thing about this race is to remember to get out and vote on May 9th. For the Omaha News, I'm Zachary Padilla.
Just over 20% of Douglas County's registered voters came out for the primary election. But with the race being so close, every vote is sure to make a difference. The polls on May 9th will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Coming up next, we'll look at the many different areas of economic development and growth around the metro.
We'll also be joined by Jim Vogel from the Platt Institute of Economic Research. Please stay tuned.
UNO TV team teaches students the skills they need to take professional jobs in the Omaha community. Through paid positions, students build their skills in lighting, audio, camera work, and other essential control room operations. Programs air locally on TKN and statewide on NHE World. UNO Television, student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
This is the Omaha News.
If you've lived in the city long enough, you probably know Omahans love to walk. And a popular scenic destination for pedestrians is the Jean Leahy Mall downtown. But what you might not know is the site may soon be getting a makeover. The proposed area for redevelopment is bordered by Farnham to the north, Douglas to the south, and runs between 8th and 11th Streets. As Alejandra Cortez reports, the city has already begun obtaining permit approvals, and this project is getting closer to becoming a reality.
The downtown Leahy Mall could soon be the site of commerce and entertainment. Last month, a committee of influential Omahans proposed that the Jean Leahy Mall be transformed into a riverwalk.
I think we have enough bars and things like that, so I'm actually would think that would be something that would be more artistic, something that the families can be involved in, storefronts that are very conducive to this type of thing. Anything that brings people downtown is a good thing.
According to Humphreys, the idea is to create a friendly, people-driven environment without eliminating the green space that Leahy Mall is known for.
Right now, if you look at it, it's just basically a walk, and it's beautiful. And in fact, they need to leave some of that, because if it becomes nothing but shops, then it loses all of its value.
Residents of the downtown area have begun to voice their opinions over the potential riverwalk.
I think it's a pretty good idea. There's not really anything for people to go and do here besides like eat or drink, like bars. So I think as a community, the downtown community, it could be for people to know each other, do activities, and enjoy food while they're out.
Humphrey says although planning is still early, he sees potential in this project.
Have complete transparency and get their input and make sure that we're working with them. I think it'll happen.
For the Omaha News, I'm Alejandra Cortez.
Once located just a few blocks northwest of the Jean Leahy Mall, the Civic Auditorium hosted some of Omaha's most popular events, like graduation ceremonies, concerts, and sporting events. The 62-year-old building was demolished late last year. Here at 1804 Capitol Avenue is where the Civic once stood. According to the mayor's office, the future of this site is still in its planning stages. Although there has been debate over what will replace the auditorium, nothing is official as of yet. The mayor's office said it will release details further in May. The relocation of ConAgra's headquarters to Chicago presents another opportunity for redevelopment downtown. After the company's decision to move, ConAgra vacated 2 of its buildings. Last week, the World Herald announced that 3 Susie Buffett organizations would occupy what is known as Building 5. The 60,000 square foot space will host the Sherwood Foundation and the Susan Thompson Buffett Early Childhood Fund.
The city of Omaha is seeing lots of changes, and with the development of the Capital District, it will hopefully be seeing more visitors, conventions, and maybe even open containers. The Capital District is located between 10th and 12th Streets from Davenport to Festival. With more details on the Capital District project is Omaha News reporter Colt Paulson.
The Capital District has been in the works for over 5 years and is finally coming close to being finished. The $205 million project is being developed by Shamrock Development.
We're building a destination dining and entertainment district serving eastern Nebraska and western Iowa.
The 90,000 square feet Capital District will be a visitor attraction holding restaurants, bars, retail stores, and a hotel. Each year, around 11.9 million visitors visit Omaha.
Those out-of-town visitors spent more than $1.1 billion while visiting Omaha.
With the addition of the Capital District, it increases the thing visitors can do in downtown Omaha. It also increases the chances of booking larger conventions with the new 330-room Marriott Hotel.
It's going to take advantage of this unique location location across the street from the convention center arena.
Having both the Marriott and the Hilton across the street from the CenturyLink Center is a great selling point to get conventions to choose Omaha.
People love being right across from their meeting place.
While the Capital District isn't finished yet, it is already in the talks of becoming Omaha's first entertainment district, much like Lincoln's Haymarket District.
So the rules are, to be an entertainment district, you have to have an arena. So obviously it's a perfect place.
The Omaha City Council has approved the creation of entertainment districts, and soon the Capital District will apply to be one of them. This means you will be able to sip your alcoholic beverages outside bars and restaurants.
The Capital District will be very beneficial to not just its location, but to downtown itself.
I think the Capital District is a great catalyst for even more growth in the downtown area.
For the Omaha News, I'm Colt Paulson.
The Marriott Hotel is scheduled to open this summer, with retail spaces following soon after. And just in time for the College World Series, the new parking garage will expand opportunities to park closer to the action at TD Ameritrade Park.
Exarban Village is another area in Omaha that is being considered for an entertainment district. Exarban's location is between Shirley and Center Streets, from Exarban Drive to 64th Avenue. Exarban Village qualifies as a potential entertainment district because of Baxter Arena. In order to qualify as an entertainment district, the area must have an arena. However, because UNO is a dry campus, this could make implementation of the entertainment district an issue. The president of Downtown Omaha Incorporated says his group will be working closely with the university to make sure everyone is involved in the decision-making process.
With more on economic growth and development in Omaha, we are joined in studio by Jim Vogel of the Platt Institute. Jim?
Good to be here.
Thank you for being here. So, simple question to get us started here. How do you envision Omaha developing in the next 10 to 20 years? If someone took a snapshot of Omaha and then was cast 20 years into the future, do you think they would know they were in the same city?
Well, I've lived here all my life, and if you look at Omaha where we are today compared to where we were, let's say 15 years ago, without the convention center and the hotel and the north downtown development, many people 15 or 20 years ago wouldn't necessarily have envisioned what we have today. And I think we're going to continue to build upon that momentum. And I think based on that history of that development that we are seeing north of downtown, I think that should give people the assurance that we're going to continue that momentum, making this a great place to work, live, and play, which is going to certainly be attractive to young professionals and help us as a city attract and retain as many people as we can.
So in your mind, what's a major inhibitor of economic growth in Omaha?
Well, if you look at any of the cities or states that are growing and those that aren't, usually it comes down to what your economic or tax policies are. Nebraska specifically has a low quality of life. We have high property taxes though, and most importantly we have a very high income tax. And so if you're a business that's looking at locating in a state, that's usually going to be the number one economic driver. And so with the highest income tax rate from North Dakota to Texas, we aren't as open for business as we can, which limits the opportunities of businesses coming here, which also limits certainly the opportunities and job opportunities for young professionals. We've seen a lot of outmigration of young professionals outside of the state and outside of the city, and it starts with our economic climate and our tax code.
So you touched on our income and our cost of living. So Census Bureau data does show that in the last 15 years, income among the younger generations is less in growth than that of older generations. How do you think that affects our development in the next 20 years?
Sure, and I think that comes down to do we have the economic environment and the tax environment that are promoting the state as much as we can, because the more we do that, the more opportunities there are going to be for young professionals, which are going to give them the most capacity to earn more money. And I don't like to necessarily hear that trend, but I think it certainly comes down to what types of businesses are here and what our environment is to attract new businesses or expand the existing ones. And unfortunately, it comes down to the fact that our economic tax structure isn't as open for businesses in other states, leading to less opportunity and income growth for young professionals.
Because ideally we would like to keep those individuals here and not have the brain drain, as it were, right?
We've had over $3 billion of adjusted gross income leave the state of Nebraska since 1992, and that doesn't necessarily even account for the potential that young professionals and the income that they could provide in the state.
Exactly. So with that, places like the University of Nebraska at Omaha have a lot of programs and relationships ongoing with places like First Data, where graduating seniors are funneled directly into the workforce with internships, full-time job opportunities. In what ways does that help fight the brain drain and help solidify Omaha's future as a place with ample employment opportunity for young people?
Those strong public-private partnerships that you're talking about are critical to providing the first rung on the ladder of young professionals, and also those opportunities are certainly important in retaining those young folks to maybe stay in Nebraska, to start a family, build their career here rather than look to other states. And so I think those types of programs, those types of partnerships are critical and a catalyst for keeping young professionals here in the state.
Jim Vocal, thank you for joining us.
You bet.
After the break, we'll go west to Werner Park and east to Epley Airfield, looking at the potential those sites have for future growth. We will also be joined by UNO Chancellor John Christensen, who will soon be retiring after almost 30 years of service to our university.
You've always known you were a leader, someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You can see it. You can see your success in front of you. You pursue a college education for the old-fashioned reasons, to learn, to make yourself more valuable, to succeed. You need a place that celebrates your ambition and positions you alongside visionary people just like you. You, my friend, belong here, the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
This is the Omaha News.
If you build it, they will come, or so was the promise made back in 2011 when Warner Park was constructed. But after 6 years, not one commercial property has been developed around the home of the storm chasers. Omaha News reporter Jose Rodriguez investigates why.
The imminent construction of an entertainment district and new commercial developments were the expectations when Werner Park first opened. But even though the interest is there, the Shiwi Farm's lack of development is apparent.
There hasn't been a project that's really met the vision of the entertainment district.
The lack of development of an entertainment district is tied to the need of more residents living near the area, since the business community needs to make a living throughout the year.
During the baseball season, there's a fair amount of traffic, and that runs from early April until probably Labor Day. So without the adjacent development, it'd be awful tough for a business to survive on 3 or 4 months worth of business.
According to Trenton Albers, one important thing to notice is that Werner Park has activated residents' development around the area.
When Werner Park was built, the city of Papillion invested $2 million into connecting water and sewer out to the Werner Park area.
Some of these developments include North Shore, Asbury Farm, Prairie Hills, and Granite Falls. By 2020, the city of Papillion expects 800 new houses to be built.
And a lot of it has to do with that water and sewer connection.
On top of having developing residential areas, the Prairie Queen Recreation Area and Werner Park, the Nebraska Multisport Complex is opening in the fall of 2018, creating more interest for commercial developments in the future.
1 million visitors at the sports complex, 500,000 at Werner Park. Suddenly you've got a pretty good destination, which is going to attract attention of the development community, saying, hey, those visitors have needs.
For the Omaha News, I'm Jose Rodriguez.
Although the entertainment and commercial developments are still far from being realized, the hope remains that with growing residential developments and the new Nebraska Multisport Complex, interest in the area will come soon.
Starting tomorrow, Epley Airfield begins what will be a 2-year, $89 million construction project, adding a new parking garage. In order to make room for its development, the service lot to the north of the parking garage will be closed to the public. The canopy lot, as seen here, will also be closed. The rental car operations will be moved in the coming weeks to the canopy lot south of the terminal. Construction of the new parking garage is scheduled to begin next month. It will be built just north of the existing garage where the surface lot is currently located.
These new additions, plus the nonstop flights coming to Omaha's Epley Airfield, mean big changes are on the horizon. Reporter Gloria Esbahel investigates what it takes to grow an airport.
Located 3 miles northeast of downtown Omaha is Epley Airfield, serving 4.3 million passengers and 28 nonstop service flights, including its newest additions, Miami and San Diego.
Omaha having these new flights come online provides greater options for the traveling public, both leisure travelers and business travelers here in Omaha.
Epley is also looking to tap into other unserved destinations.
Boston and Philadelphia are now the 2 largest markets out of Omaha that do not have a nonstop flight from Omaha. So those could be potential growth opportunities in the future. There are other potential growth opportunities that airlines are going to continue to look at, a variety of factors that influence demand out of Omaha.
Anytime an airline looks to add a new route, there are 3 things they look for.
Some level of existing demand between 2 cities, or some level of demand that can be stimulated. They also look for a level of profitability. They'll run forecasts on potential markets to determine what level of revenue they'll be able to generate. But one of them, which I would probably say is the most important piece for them, is to determine whether or not a new market fits within their network strategies.
As increased traffic is expected with new flights, so are new customer service-based projects, like a new garage and other facilities within the airport. For the Omaha News, I'm Gloria Espejel.
Epley Airfield had about 4.3 million passengers in 2016. This is up 4% from last year. The airport's terminal will be expanded once that number grows to 5.4 million passengers a year.
Earlier this week, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Chancellor John Christensen to discuss his thoughts on the role UNO plays in the city's development, his tenure, and his upcoming retirement. So, Chancellor, what would you say was your crowning moment from your time as our Chancellor?
Well, I don't know if there was a crowning moment, but for me personally, having been a student at UNO, a first-generation college student, for me what's always been important, and we have a tremendous faculty, staff, and student body who all feel the same way, and that was to have a campus that cared about the community and partnered with the community and had access with success for all the students who chose to join the Maverick family.
Okay, and if you could do one thing differently, what would that be?
Well, I would have to think about that, but frankly, I'm not sure I would do anything differently. I've had the privilege of working again with great people who care about the kids in our community, and I think that's really the secret behind successful and forward-moving urban and metropolitan universities, is to be connected with the community and students in every way possible.
Perfect. And kind of in that same topic of the community, in light of the state's current economic situation, what are your thoughts on UNO's importance to the city and state as a driver of economic growth?
Well, I think the vast majority of our students, I believe last year it was 86 or 87% are Nebraskans. The tendency is for them to stay here. So they're future employees. They're going to be future leaders in this, not only in this community, but we have students from across Nebraska. So I think that tomorrow will always be bright if, in fact, we provide opportunities for our kids to be successful and then stay in Nebraska and continue to make great contributions going forward.
Very nice. And you've done a lot to tackle issues like the parking infrastructure, and now you're working through some difficult budget cuts. Mm-hmm. What do you think will be the biggest challenger, or the biggest challenge for the next UNO Chancellor?
Well, I think the state's economic circumstances right now are challenging to all. Where that goes, we don't know at this point. I believe the Appropriations Committee will provide recommendations April 21st, and then the conversation goes to the floor, I believe, on the 25th. But in the interim, and I'm not sure what date, 23rd or 24th, there will be another economic forecast, and So not knowing the answers to any of those things, it's very difficult to say what is going to happen regarding the challenges in the state right now. What I do know is the university will work very hard. All of the university will work very hard to help address those issues. University of Nebraska system is a key player in the state of Nebraska, and it's all a question mark right now, unfortunately. But those hills and valleys, we've been through those before in 9 and 10 and 2003 and 4, and it's always very challenging, but I think people care enough about this state that we'll do whatever we can do to continue here on this campus supporting our students in the very best possible way we're able to, as well as continuing to support the state of Nebraska in all ways possible.
Certainly, yeah, that'll be interesting to look forward to. And on May 5th, you will oversee your final commencement as UNO's Chancellor. How much thought have you given that, and how emotional do you think you'll be?
I'm going to try not to be emotional, but I don't know the answer to that, how that will work. Graduation is and has been my most favorite event. Actually, when I received my master's degree from UNO, Ron Roskins, who then became president of the university, was chancellor here. I won't forget that. That was a special day in my life. Once again, not having had anyone in our family who even had an opportunity to go to college. And so I'm very excited about it. I like nothing better. And I demand the opportunity to shake everyone's hand as they walk across the stage, and it'll be a special day in my life. But every day being part of the Maverick family is a special day in my life. I love this place.
Well, thank you very much, Chancellor, and congratulations on all of your success and on your retirement.
Thank you, for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Some kind words from University of Nebraska Omaha's beloved Chancellor. That does it for tonight's program and the spring semester series of the Omaha News.
We'd like to thank all of the students, staff, and faculty that make this programming possible. But most of all, we'd like to thank you for watching.
From all of us at the Omaha News, thank you, and we'll see you next fall.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is a place for tomorrow's leaders, a place where individuals converge on a path to success, getting the attention and direction they need as they begin their career. It's where students take pride in serving Omaha, a city we've invested in for more than 100 years. UNO is a place where greatness begins. The University of Nebraska at Omaha.
Create, innovate, discover. Coneco UNO Library, where scholar meets creative. Located in downtown Omaha, Coneco Library is designed to bridge education and creation. For students and community members alike, both loud in expression and quiet in nature, encouraging forward thinkers to collaborate in a beautiful space of creative scholarly consciousness. Coneco UNO Library, open space for your mind where momentum is accomplished.